Welcome everyone. Today I'm here with Councillor James O'Shea to chat about Toowoomba's biggest event, the Carnival of Flowers. So obviously Toowoomba's growing, everything's growing year on year. What are the estimates of people predicted to come into the event for September?
Yeah, well, it's a good question. Like I said, everything's sort of growing. So you go back to last year, we had 365,000 people across the month. So let's be bold and say that we'll get more than that this year. But so 365,000 came to experience this over 30 days, visiting the beautiful places like we are now, our parks and things like that. This is the most visited place that people attended last year. So we had like 196,000 people across the month that visited just this park alone, and 93,000 visited Laurel Bank, and scattered across the other different events and things like that. But let's say we're going to get close to 400,000.
Yeah, right. I think what's not to love. And obviously a lot of local people, a lot of people from out of town, based on last year's numbers. Is there a number that we think of people that are going to stay overnight in the region?
Yeah, well, you look at last year's figures, and again, we had 121,000 overnight stays. So that's a great thing for obviously the hoteliers and obviously for, of course, eateries and places around town. But yeah, so over 120,000 overnight stays in here. And I mean, when you looked at the figures last year as well, that equates to spend in our community of over $22 million. So it's a huge injection into our region, and that's what makes this event so great. Yeah, the power of the pedals is absolutely incredible. Bring that amount of people to town, to bring that amount of money to our community, and like you go right back to what this event was all about. So I mean, Essex Tate, 1949, he's the brainchild of the Toowoomba Carnival of Flowers. He had this idea of, one, let's have an event through a parade which promotes Toowoomba for its garden city image, but also back then it was as an economic stimulus for the business community post the war. So fast forward 74 years, and again, the core of that is what makes this great. It's about promoting ourselves to the world as Toowoomba, the garden city. Yeah,
awesome. So I think you touched on the economic benefit for Toowoomba. Obviously, it goes to all different areas, cafes, everyone. How do you think that looks sort of like spread out across the region?
Yeah, I think the big thing that we want with the Toowoomba Carnival of Flowers is that everybody gets the opportunity to benefit from it. So, like we said, with 120,000 overnight stays, of course, the hotels are going to be full, so every bed's going to be taken up across that particular month. But in turn, that leads to people attending local events, of course, going to local shops, of course, eating food, things like that across here. So you really hope that all of our different businesses of all kinds can benefit from it. But I guess the flip side to that as well is that you hope that people that are travelling here to experience the Toowoomba Carnival of Flowers love what we have to offer as a region, and then come back in the future. They might come back and live here, so they come see people like yourself and sort that out for them. But it's promoting who we are, and that you hope that people love what Toowoomba represents, and then hope that they say, yeah, it's a pretty cool place, and I'd love to come back again.
Yeah, that's right. It's pretty special compared to a lot of other places in the regions. Obviously, big 75 years next year. Anything sort of special planned for that year, or it's a bit hard to say? We're still getting through this one.
Yeah, we'll get through the 74th first, but yeah, that's a huge milestone. To celebrate 75 years. So I know the team are already planning towards that. So getting things in mind to make it a spectacular event, which it should be. It is every year, but 75 years is quite the celebration. So right in the thick of it right now, of course, for the 74th edition. But yeah, in the back of our minds is the 75th and what that looks like, and making sure we do it justice, which I'm sure we will.
Yeah, awesome. All good. Well, obviously big events in Toowoomba, lots of places to visit, lots of food to eat, lots of things to enjoy. Where, if people want to discuss you, where would they find you in the community, reach out, whatnot?
Yeah, sure. So obviously, like most people on all the social media, if you follow me there on Facebook, on Instagram, chat to me along those lines if you have any questions about the Toowoomba Carnival of Flowers. But if you want any information about the Toowoomba Carnival of Flowers, your one-stop shop is tcof.com.au. All the events are listed across there, so right across the month, so whether they be from our major events around the parades, food, wine, teddy bears, picnics, to the parks and gardens and what's on display there. So that's all available through that. And the last thing I'll add as well is if you're up here and you're enjoying our gardens and you see one of the incredible gardening staff, make sure you go up and say hello and say thank you to them, because the petals are certainly the stars, but the stars behind those stars is the incredible people gardening staff here. So 190,000 blooms planted, 37.2 million petals. It doesn't just pop up and happen overnight. They do an incredible job, and the love and the pride that they have in what they do is what really makes this event what it is. So if you do see any of our garden staff, please go and say hello and say thank you to them for what they do.
Yeah.
Because they do an amazing job.
Not possible without them.
And that's right.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it, and we'll see you soon.
Yep, thanks for having me.